Today, I have the pleasure to speak with Sasha Watson. She's the founder and financial strategist over at Sasha Watson Financial Solutions, where she specializes in empowering small businesses across the United States and Canada with funding solutions up to $2 million. In addition to that, she does provide sustainability strategies and cost-saving services. Thank you for being here today, Sasha.
Thank you for having me.
Excellent. How's it been going with your business so far? Are you noting any major shifts that you're seeing in your current industry at this point in time?
Business is going great, but there is a clear shift away from hustle and hype and towards responsibility and realism. Money is moving toward businesses and organizations that understand their numbers, their risks, their capacity. Passion still matters, of course, but structure is really what allows passion to actually create impact without exhaustion, without burning yourself out. So clarity, it's not just a financial advantage anymore. It's really becoming essential to sustainability and quality of life for the leaders.
Okay. And what's been working well for you right now? And what's been frustrating, just to give a little bit of a contrast?
What's working well is focus. I can tell a lot of people are very serious about their business, passionate about their business. I'm working with people who are, they're ready to slow down and get honest with their finances and build things the right way. So, when clarity and expectations are aligned, the results will follow and the stress level drops noticeably. So what's really been frustrating is how many people think that they're failing. And really, they're just unsupported. There's still so much misinformation around quick fixes, and it creates confusion. So that takes time to unwind and to unprogram.
Okay. So it sounds that a common misconceptions among entrepreneurs or small business owners about securing funds is really about that clarity, no? The misconception about how the structuring is being set up.
Yes, exactly. Bad information from people. Unfortunately, there are a lot of people out there that just want your money. So I see that a whole lot. People go into the wrong ones. They're not supported.
Yeah, most definitely. Definitely clarity plays a big role with that.
Yes.
Okay. And any frustrations as far as when it comes down when dealing with the client and not being able to meet their expectations?
No frustration. I'm as empathetic as I possibly can be. Not everyone is a fit for everyone else. But usually what I run into is people going off old information, not really allowing the new information to come in, to sink in, and then to process it in a way that will make a difference in their business. So they look to me as maybe a fun sucker, because I'm letting them know exactly how their finances are, what they need to do. And that just seems like the main thing that I've been running into is people just getting frustrated over that. Like I said, I'm working with the people that are just ready to slow down, really. I know that everybody's excited about getting their business up and running, getting funded. But unfortunately, if you don't have your finances in order, it's just all a wasted venture.
Yeah, most definitely. Are there any specific industries where you feel that the sustainability strategies that you've mentioned that are with the cost savings or competitive advantage that are struggling with this, or is it kind of broad throughout the horizon?
It's pretty broad. Industries, all across the board face this in one way or another. The energy business, I've noticed, has a little bit more problems with that because things are just they're changing so fast. And there's such a strict criteria around funding. So the fintech, that's another one that might get into it a little bit deeper than everyone else. But basically, it's all across the board. No matter what industry you're in, there is one base criteria that you've got to meet, which is its structure and clarity.
Yeah, no, most definitely, especially with the changes we're seeing throughout the economy. I know we dealt with high interest rate for quite some time. Now it seems that's trending down, but then the cost of within the energies are starting to go up as well. There's a lot of moving parts in there that I'm sure that a lot of business owners have to encounter as well.
Yeah, most definitely.
Anything you're excited about for now that we've just started 2026?
I am excited about starting 2026 from a place of clarity. Clarity is just so important. Instead of playing catch up, The focus this year is to helping more businesses and nonprofits move out of reaction mode and into steadiness. So, where their decisions are proactive instead of reactive. Finances are intentional and the leaders feel supported instead of overwhelmed. That kind of stability, it creates better businesses, it creates stronger organizations and healthier people all around.
Okay, great, excellent. Do you feel that like when you go through with the structure and providing that clarity for your clients, any unexpected advantages have you seen that your clients seen by implementing these strategies?
Cost optimization, that's a big one, especially where the economy is just so volatile right now. People are really getting a grip on their back end, what they're looking at. If they're wanting to go for grants, their information is becoming a lot more structured the way that they want to see it. So I think on probably the cost optimization, they're looking where they can make cuts. They're looking where they can optimize, vendor costs. So that would probably be the main one.
And are there like any metrics do you focus on improving? Anything that stands out in particular?
It just really depends on what exactly, the client's looking for. Usually it's funding. So there are a few metrics. The paperwork has to be impeccable. You have to have all of your things like your articles of organization, your EIN, you've got to have all of that stuff. There's just little, it just depends on what industry it's in, but there's just little nuances of everything that you must make sure is in order, or you're going to be submitting an application that is just going to get denied. And unfortunately, they don't like going over things again. If you get denied once, chances are you'll be denied again and again.
And that's something you'll be able to offer, make sure that everything is in order. So when you go through that first process, so at least you don't have to go back, and then obviously that diminishes the chances now of getting funded. And so would you say like the biggest bottleneck or constraining you from you hitting your goals faster will be like getting qualified clients possibly, or?
Yeah, that's a big one, because like I said, people come into this, if they're a new business owner, they don't really know exactly. They just think they need to have their credit good and that's all they need. But it's a whole lot more than that. So I would say that is a very big one. Another one is just like I was mentioning before, misinformation and disinformation, people coming in and, just really thinking that they're good and they're great, and then be mad at me when I let them know really what the companies are looking for. So I guess qualified clients, you could definitely place it under that category.
Any key takeaway lessons from the previous years? I mean, aside from being mentioned.
One of the biggest lessons is that clarity is a form of care and self-care. So when people understand what's really going on financially, they stop blaming themselves and they start making empowered decisions. They come at it from a place of empowerment. So that shift alone, it can change how someone experiences their business or their organization. Another lesson is that sustainable growth, it feels calm. If everything feels urgent all the time, something important usually is not fully understood yet.
Okay. Okay, great. Excellent. And what do you feel, what kind of industry that you've been able to provide more of has given you more of a tailwind? Like, you feel like it's much more at ease here? You feel that tends to be more of an open road, like fintech, energies, or the typical brick and mortars, accounting, that sort of thing.
Brick and mortar, definitely. Accounting, those types. I've noticed a lot of success in cybersecurity. So they're also one that usually has all of their stuff together, but they are on the internet a lot and they're aware of what's going around there that's just not accurate. It's just not correct. And they're aware of that. Cybersecurity is a big one. I mean, energy is by far, hands down, the hardest one that I've run into so far to get everything needed in order to, to get them funded. But I still had great success. I'm very thorough. So maybe too thorough. If I had to say, one of my weaknesses probably being too thorough, making sure everything's in order. And that definitely, you have to be that way with energy, especially if you're dealing with tax credits or something. Yeah, most definitely. You're dealing with the government, so they're wanting perfection the first time.
Have you seen like any favoritism towards like the whatchamacallit, the ones that are a little bit more friendly towards like the electrical based or the sustainability. Because even though like right now it seems that like gas prices are trending down, but I mean it's tend to be seen, but like anything like towards like electrical based type of energy sectors, is that something you work with or?
I work with renewable energy mainly, but I am broadening my scope to encompass anybody in the industry energy industry. So try saying that 5 times. So the shift is definitely real. There is a shift towards sustainability right now. Everything's trying to go green, but there are still some, there's old rules and there's old policies. Everything is right now in a liminal space when it comes to that. It just depends on really what you're going for. The government, they are usually pretty good about keeping up to date and having everything. It might be slow, but they can get it done. When you branch off into the smaller energy businesses, that's where you start seeing a little bit more, frustration around being able to get everything that they want done. So, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's something I'm curious to know a little bit because a lot of the precious metals, a lot of sustainable energy, especially silver, platinum, copper, metals, and so forth, have been rising in prices. So and the inventories are also obviously taking a hit, which obviously, when it comes down to cost optimization, that obviously plays a big role. Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you so much, Sasha. Where can viewers find you and get in contact if they would like to reach out with you and go ahead and get more information?
Okay, so you can contact me through my website. That's www.sashawatson.consulting.com. They can also find me through LinkedIn. And if someone's running a business or organization and feels like they're carrying too much alone, that's usually the right sign that they don't need to push harder alone anymore. So they need to get clearer support. So instead of doing all that research on the internet that people usually do, they can just go straight to my website and contact me, and I'll be more than happy to help.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Very informative. I appreciate for your time here, Sasha.
Thank you.